And I'm back and still in my car because it's such a beautiful day out and I want to enjoy it before the storm hits, which I'm sure is going to be very, very soon. So this is going to be my top 10 least favorite movies of 2020. And there was a lot of shit films this year. Like, as many good ones as there was and as many shit ones. Like, there was a lot of average films, but there was some real fucking garbage movies this year. So I actually have 11 because one was kind of tied. Just, they're not like the worst films, but I will explain why they're on my list and why I put them together rather than separately. So starting off, again, this is 2020 films released for Australia dates, and some of these are Netflix films. So number 10 is The Boy 2 and The New Mutants. So The Boy 2 would have been a decent film if The Boy didn't already exist, because The Boy 2 goes against everything that the first film did. And I loved the first film. I really enjoyed The Boy. And The Boy 2 ruins that. So if you ignore the existence of The Boy and just watch this as a separate film, it's okay. But because it's a sequel, it's complete trash. The New Mutants, if you ignore all the X-Men movies that came before it, all other superhero movies that have come before it, it's okay. It's like a long CW TV show episode. If you watch the Vampire Diaries or the originals, or really any of the TV shows on CW, Teen Wolf, this is basically what The New Mutants is. It's just done really bad for what's meant to be a Hollywood blockbuster. So that is the reason those two are tied in number 10, because they were okay if you just ignore everything else around it, but it's really hard to do. Number 9, You Should Have Left. I love Kevin Bacon. I was really excited to see him back as a main actor in his own kind of movie that he was leading, but this film was straight up garbage. There is nothing memorable about it. I just absolutely hated everything about it. It was really boring and just, I definitely was not into it. Number 8 was His House. The concept of it was really interesting. The trailer of it was amazing. But watching the film, it is a fucking train wreck. It makes absolutely no sense. It jumps from place to place. I don't know whether some of the translation was just weird, but it was just fucking shit. It was not good. There is nothing about this film that stands out as being good. And then they try and do this twist at the end, which I saw coming a mile away. I'm like, this is trash. I don't understand why anyone enjoyed it if they did. Last I looked at it, it didn't have a great rating. I don't know whether that has changed, but if you haven't seen His House, be thankful, because it's shit. It's on Netflix and it looked really interesting, but there's some films that work only as a trailer and not a film. 7, Mark of the Devil. So this is also on Netflix. It's a film that looked interesting, sounded interesting. I watched the dubbed version. I'm not sure whether the translation was just off, but most of it made no sense. The storyline didn't add up. The acting was horrible. It's a really forgettable movie, but I do remember that I absolutely hated it. So don't watch that. Or if you're going to watch it, maybe check out the dub version. I mean, not the dub version, the subtitled version. Go with the real language rather than whatever they tried to do. Number 6 was The Hunt. A lot of people seem to really like this film. They really liked the political humor they were going for. And while the start of it is like, holy crap, they're killing everyone, this is entertaining, that quickly stops. Like, maybe that lasts for about 5 minutes, and then it tries to take itself too serious. It tries to be too forceful with being funny, and the jokes just, it doesn't work. I don't know whether the jokes would work more for Americans, but for Australians or really anywhere else in the world, it was just flat. And the lead actress I usually like, I really enjoyed her in Glow, but she was fucking shit in this. Yeah, like everyone was talking about how amazing it was. I watched it and like, I hate this film. Like, I don't get why anyone is enjoying it. Ooh, excuse me. So I just, like, I wanted to like it. I really did, but there was just nothing about it that I enjoyed. Other than the first 5 minutes where they just decided to brutally kill everyone. Number 5 was The Grudge. So I'm not really sure whether this was meant to be a remake, a reboot, a sequel. I really don't know. The storyline didn't really tell or explain anything. Just thinking about this movie is making me tired. It was just the performance. Number 4 was Antebellum. I was actually really excited for this film before it came out. They were advertising it as the next Get Out. Us. While I didn't like Us, I absolutely loved Get Out. I'm like, maybe this will be like Get Out. I can enjoy it and I'll be really into it. But it was just bad. It felt like they had about 3-4 different movies that they were making, and then they couldn't decide which one to go with, so they kind of just mashed them together. And then when it starts getting interesting, good, something happens and it just ruins the momentum. Like, they introduce her annoying as fuck character, which is her best friend in the film. And then when it starts picking up momentum again and getting better, they just create plot holes and it just abruptly ends. It doesn't feel like it's a full final ending. I don't really know many people that didn't enjoy Antebellum, and the people that did were under the impression that it was from the same director as Us and Get Out, but it's not Jordan Peele. It's just someone that is riding on the coattails of the popularity of those movies. So yeah, I did not like Antebellum at all. Number 3, I don't understand why I fucking watched this film, but I did. The Craft Legacy. I loved The Craft growing up. One of my favorite movies. I'm sorry. I'm just yawning my head off right now. I loved The Craft. I saw the trailer for this film. I'm like, I hate it. I don't want it. Why would they do this? Like, I wanted a sequel with the original girls, or I wanted more of the original girls. I didn't want this. Whatever this is, I did not want. But I watched it. I don't know why I watched it. I guess curiosity got the best of me. I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as I think it was. It was worse. Like, I don't know why someone wrote it. I don't know why someone decided to make it. I don't know why someone decided, it was still okay to be released. I don't know why the girl signed up to be in this film. It's just, there was nothing good about it. And how the fuck did they get David involved? I love him as an actor, but what the fuck? Like, they must have gave him a really good payday, because he basically just called it in and did not give a fuck. So it's not like Number 2 was The Last Thing He Wanted. Originally, this was my number 1. I actually forgot. I swapped them over. So, I'm just going to say this now, but what has happened to Anne Hathaway's career? Because I made The Last Thing He Wanted number 1 until I watched The Witches last night, which is now my new number 1, and this is number 2. What the fuck, Anne Hathaway? You are a brilliant actress. You used to do a lot of fantastic movies, and now you're doing this garbage. Even Ben Affleck. Like, what? Why would you do this film? Originally Nicolas Cage was attached to this film, and Nicolas Cage turned it down. That's why Ben Affleck was in it. This film, like, Nicolas Cage was too good for you. Nicolas Cage does every film in the history of the world. Have you seen Nicolas Cage's films lately? And he turned this film down. That should tell you everything you need to know about this garbage film. The storyline, there's no fucking storyline. I don't know what's happening to this. It's like someone just got a predicted keyboard on their phone and just kept pressing the middle button. That is how the story was written. It is garbage. The performances are garbage. Clearly, Anne and Ben did not want to be there. I don't remember the rest of the cast. It was a really good cast, but they just did not want to be there. So I basically just like, I'm going to pretend you didn't do this film. Like, you deserve better than this. But then Anne Hathaway then did The Witches, and holy fucking shit. Why? Like, according to this film, if you have deformed feet, if you have deformed hands, if you have no hair, if you have deformed teeth, you are a witch. And you're this gruesome creature, and if you speak in a really heavy accent, you are a witch and a horrible creature. Like, did they think this through? Because clearly not. You are making all these groups that would want to watch this film feel bad about their body or bad about themselves. It's not funny. The trailer tries to show it as being funny, like with the kids turning to mice, but it's not. And then you have Chris Rock narrating. I like Chris Rock, but the way he was narrating and telling the story, it just felt like an episode of Everybody Hates Chris. I don't know whether they did that intentionally or what they were going for, but it was fucking boring. It was just a really bad film. The special effects were bad. The performances were bad. This is not just for Anne, but for everyone in the film. I like Stanley Tucci, but he just didn't try. Octavia Spencer didn't try. Like, no one was trying. It was just, oh, don't get me started on Anne Hathaway's fake accent. What in the hell? Anyway, if you haven't seen The Witches, you did yourself a favor. This is not a movie you want to watch. Any of the movies on this list is not something you want to watch. I really am sorry that I have been yawning my head off. Clearly, I am too tired for life. 2020 has exhausted us all, so I think this is a perfect way to end the year. But yeah, my top 10 least favorite movies of the year was The Boy 2, The New Mutants, which tied at number 10. Number 9, You Should Have Left. Number 8, His House. Number 7, Mark of the Devil. Number 6, The Hunt. Number 5, The Grudge. Number 4, Antebellum. Number 3, The Craft Legacy. Number 2, The Last Thing He Wanted. And number 1, The Witches. If you have watched any of these movies, I feel really, really sorry for you. They are really trash. If you have avoided these movies, yes, you survived 2020 in more ways than a lot of people did. I hope 2020 has been kind to you at least. And while COVID has really sucked, this year definitely could have been worse. I sadly lost my cat. So while this year sucks because of COVID, worse things have happened, and this is not the worst year that you've been through, and I reckon 2021 will be better. And I'm looking forward to the new movies that will be out next year. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching and putting up with my yawning. And let me know down below what your favorite or least favorite movie of 2020 was. Thanks. Bye. Happy New Year.